Alright, welcome back. First of all, I want to give a disclaimer before I start this episode. I said at the beginning of this channel that I don't know what I'm doing. I'm an amateur and I'm learning as I go. So I say that to say, if you're watching these videos because you're restoring one of these midgets, please look at what I do, not as a how-to, but this is what I'm trying. So I've already made mistakes, and that's okay. That's how you learn. So today in this episode, well, basically all this last week I've been just taking off all the door trim, all the little snaps and little pieces, taking out the final things on the inside. But in this episode I really want to get the gas tank off and the fuel pump and all that stuff off. So I had to jack the car back up, which I've already done, and we're going to get underneath there and hopefully take this gas tank out, and hopefully it'll go better than I think. So that's what we're going to work on today. So I'm working on taking the trim off the doors, and there was one, like this actually, there's one that actually has a bolt through it. Once I undid that, I was able to get just a little plastic trim piece tool behind it and pop it off. And then these little brackets that snap into there are riveted on. So I'm drilling those out, popping it off, and then knocking the rivet through to get it down to just the door. So that's what I'm going to do on this door, and I'm going to do on the other door, and then we'll see. Same thing will probably apply for this back piece of trim too. So on this trim on the rear fender, the rear quarter here, there was a 5/16 nut on there. So once I've taken that out, you can see I should be able to get a little pry tool behind it. Just pops off. Alright, that's it. Obviously you want to be really careful not to bend it, just keep prying along until you find the place where it snaps in and press on it there. Comes right out. So now, my next thing is to drill out these rivets, and then I will take the trim off. Okay, so to take out this gas tank, there's basically 1/2-inch bolts all the way around. It is, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it is connected up there to the fuel pump. Don't know if that's a good view. But I'm going to take out the nozzle in the trunk first. But on a side note, I'm underneath here looking. Oh, that does not look good. That is basically a rusted out quarter. That's all going to be Bondo, it looks like, maybe. So this is definitely going to have some work to do underneath here. It's pretty cruddy, but that's okay. That's a part of the deal. So let me go on the top and let's look up there. All right, so this nozzle, you see it right here. Basically, this is coming from the gas cap underneath, down here on the outside. So here's the gas cap right here, and that connects through the body. And there's this kind of rubber boot on here. This rubber boot. So I'm going to take that off to be able to make sure that the tank can drop down once I loosen those bolts up. So I'm going to do that part first. Alright, this is just basically a screw bracket, and I've loosened it up, and now I'm just kind of working this pipe out. So again, this has the same kind of clamp on it. It just loosens up. It's a rubber boot. It was on there and I pulled it off, and now I can see down the gas tank. And there's gas in there, which doesn't surprise me. It smells like turpentine. So I don't really want to try to get rid of that, but that's what I'm gonna have to do. So oh man, there's some serious sludge in there too. Yeah, that does not smell like gasoline. It smells like turpentine. Okay, so I took all the bolts off. There's two on the long ends and one on each side. The gas line, fuel line coming out of the tank, it was not a 5/8, and it doesn't matter anyway because it's not coming out of there. So it's still attached, but I'm gonna try to lower it down, and even if I've got to cut the line, I'm gonna have to replace it anyway. So let's see what happens when I drop it. Okay, the gas tank is out, and I pulled the fuel line all the way from the front. I doubt very seriously that this is savable. Gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with the old gas that's in there. But I don't think you can save it. I think it's definitely buy a new gas tank and fuel line and the pump and send a unit. So it's gonna be a complete replace as far as I'm concerned.